after getting bumped from that first SNL in '75 and
Billy
doing
Crystal built a career on mimicry, timing, and fearlessness. He was known as the guy who could step into anyone's skin, borrow their voice, their rhythm, their pauses, and turn it into laughter without ever looking cruel. From smoky comedy clubs to the biggest award show stages in the world, Crystal became a master of impressions and roasts. He teased presidents, actors, athletes, and legends without blinking. Nothing seemed off-limits. And yet, there was one name that never crossed his lips in jest. One person he refused to impersonate, parody, or reduce to a punchline, no matter how much pressure surrounded him. For years, people noticed it, but didn't understand it. Writers asked him why, producers pushed him during late-night meetings. Award show teams circled back again and again, suggesting clever angles, harmless bits, even affectionate impressions. Crystal said no every time. He would joke his way out of the conversation, change the subject, or simply shut it down. In an industry built on recycling familiar faces, that silence stood out. People assumed it was professionalism, or respect, or maybe superstition. The truth was heavier. It was rooted in something that never healed, something that lived quietly beneath the surface of his comedy. Billy Crystal didn't grow up chasing laughs. He grew up surrounded by sound. He was born in Manhattan in 1948 into a world where music wasn't background noise, it was oxygen. His father managed a legendary music store, a place where jazz musicians drifted in and out like weather systems. Trumpets, drums, laughter, arguments about tempo and tone filled the air. As a child, Billy didn't just hear legends, he watched them work. He saw how performers carried themselves, how confidence and vulnerability lived side by side. Entertainment wasn't mysterious to him, it was human. That environment shaped him early. By the time he could talk, he was mimicking voices at the dinner table, replaying radio hosts, singers, and neighborhood characters just to feel the room react. Laughter became feedback, timing became instinct. But beneath that creative warmth, life introduced him to loss far too soon. When Billy was still a teenager, his father died suddenly. There was no warning, no preparation. One moment the house was full of music, the next it was silent. That kind of loss rearranges a young mind. It teaches you that joy can vanish without explanation. Billy didn't collapse inward. He did what he would do for the rest of his life. He turned pain into structure. Humor became a way to manage grief without speaking it out loud. Making people laugh felt like control in a world that had just proven how uncontrollable it could be. Even then, he learned something important. Comedy wasn't about mocking life, it was about surviving it. As he grew into adulthood, Crystal sharpened his craft. He studied theater, experimented with stand-up, failed in front of rooms that didn't care who he was, and learned to recover quickly. His impressions weren't just accurate, they were affectionate. He understood that the best impersonations didn't attack the subject, they revealed something recognizable. That philosophy carried him through his early career, onto television, and eventually into American living rooms across the country. When he landed on television in the late 1970s, the stakes changed. Playing one of the first recurring gay characters on primetime TV brought attention, praise, and backlash all at once. He received threats, hate mail arrived by the boxful, security followed him, but he stayed. He believed the character mattered. He believed comedy could humanize what fear tried to erase. That decision cost him comfort, but it earned him something deeper: integrity. The same pattern followed him into sketch comedy and film. On Saturday Night Live, he learned how thin the line was between brilliance and disaster. Sketches were cut, characters died before they were born, ego clashes flared behind the scenes. Crystal absorbed it all. He kept working, refining, waiting for moments that felt true. When they arrived, he trusted them. One of those moments arrived in the form of friendship. During a period when both men were climbing, experimenting, and struggling in different ways, Billy Crystal formed a deep bond with Robin Williams. Their connection wasn't based on competition, it was based on recognition. They saw the same restlessness in each other, the same need to perform, the same fear of silence. Their styles were different. Robin was explosive, rapid, almost uncontrollable. Billy was precise, measured, surgical. But together, they balanced each other. They trusted each other in a way that went beyond jokes. When one faltered, the other steadied the moment. That trust would matter later in ways neither of them could have predicted. As Crystal's career expanded into films, his reputation solidified. He wasn't just funny, he was reliable. Directors trusted him, co-stars leaned on him, audiences believed him. Even when he played exaggerated characters, there was always something grounded underneath. That grounding came from loss, from discipline, from knowing that laughter without empathy collapses quickly. Hosting the Oscars pushed that skill to its limits. The stage was massive, the audience was unforgiving, millions watched live. One misstep could end a career. Crystal thrived there, not because he memorized jokes, but because he listened to the room. He felt shifts in energy and adjusted instinctively. He roasted gently, teased cleverly, and avoided cruelty. It made him the rare host audiences trusted year after year. But during one ceremony in the early 1990s, something unexpected happened. Cameras caught a moment that wasn't scripted. A look exchanged, a pause that lingered just a second too long. For most viewers, it passed unnoticed. For those who knew, it said everything. It was a glimpse of grief that comedy couldn't fully mask. Years later, Crystal would acknowledge that some losses never stop echoing. They don't fade with time, they simply change shape. As debates around comedy grew louder, especially around what should or shouldn't be joked about, Crystal found himself at the center of controversy more than once. Some of his choices aged poorly. He admitted that openly. He apologized when he felt he had misjudged the moment. But one boundary never shifted. He never joked about that one person, not in private, not on stage, not even when it would have landed perfectly with the crowd. That wasn't fear, it was loyalty. It was grief that never found humor big enough to hold it. As Crystal aged, his work changed. He gravitated toward stories about memory, aging, and loss. He told stories about parents, marriages, friendships that shape you quietly over decades. On Broadway, alone on stage, he shared pieces of himself that comedy once protected. Audiences laughed, then cried, often in the same breath. In film, he explored characters haunted by absence, men trying to make sense of the people they lost and the things they never said. These roles weren't accidents, they were reflections. When he finally made a film in the early 2000s,